Roger, go for deploy.
So because I was doing it by myself, it was semi-risky, and I was always leaving late or trying to put in a big day and, start going in the darkness, and then I'm like, all right, fuck, this is getting pretty sketch. I need to find some accommodation. But every single day when you follow this jungle trail up the Ho Chi Minh Highway, it is outstanding. It is fucking incredible. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Adventure Fit Radio. This is Doc here. I'm recording this on the fly at the moment because I am not in with our regular recording studio equipment. So if this sounds a little different, forgive me. But this show that is coming up for you guys is a catch-up between me and Tommy on my return from Vietnam. Had a great trip. Man, I had a great trip. I rode from Saigon, so Ho Chi Minh City, a very, very southernmost major city in Vietnam, all the way up to Hanoi, which is the northernmost major city as well, and flew out from there. And had an amazing time. Anyone that follows me on Instagram probably saw some stories and some posts and bits and pieces. I actually had the month off social media over there, and then came home and did updates with all the stories and pictures and stuff. And the month off social media was absolutely grand. It was the best. I really don't like social media. But enough about that. Enjoy this show. This show is brought to you guys by Quash Creative. Head to quashcreative.com, use the code radio when you speak to the guys, and you'll get a free SEO report or report on your current or existing brand. Sean Marsh is the head man down there at Quash Creative and a great friend of the show. Did our intro jingle to this show, and he's a very talented guy in anything creative. So check out quashcreative.com. Also brought to you by Audible, guys. While I was over there in Vietnam, I listened to Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl is a psychotherapist who was a concentration camp survivor during the Holocaust, and it's one of the only books that actually really attacks the meaning of life. It's a fascinating read or listen, obviously, in my case. I also listened to The Third Chimpanzee by Jared Diamond, which could be my favourite author. Jared Diamond's written the Pulitzer Prize winning Guns, Germs and Steel, which is sick. Just about how societies rise and what are the extraneous circumstances that kind of, that get the ball rolling. Third Chimpanzee is human evolution, basically why we do what we do and how we do it. Very, very fascinating book. Jared Diamond's a great writer, so you should check that one out. I also listened to The Barefoot Investor by Scott Pape, the best finance book I've ever read. So that was while I was over in Vietnam. In the meantime, while I was there, I also read what's that book called? Lord of the Flies. I had a bit of leisure time. I was on my bike a lot. I was walking around cities and I was just taking in books, and I think it's just such a fantastic way to take in knowledge that you're mad not to check it out. So head to audibletrial.com/ADVF radio. You'll get one free month and one free audio book if you go there. Also, last but not least, we're brought to you by Adventure Fit Travel. So, Adventure Fit Travel, guys, is my baby. I'm the founder and CEO, and we are an adventure travel company for the fitness community. So, yesterday, when I'm recording this, which will actually be about 4 or 5 days ago by the time you hear this, we released a bunch of new trips. We released Vietnam. Obviously, once I got back, I was like, this has just got to happen for Adventure Fit. It's too good of a trip to not do. We released Bali. Bali's been one of our most popular trips we've ever ran, so we're running Bali again for 2018. We also released the Greek islands. So that's a trip to the Greek islands, Santorini and Crete. And basically, guys, while I was over in Vietnam, every time we're at a table, sitting around, conversation, hey, what do you do? Hey, what do you do? What do you study? Blah, blah, blah. I was staying in hostels and, meeting people along the way. And it kind of felt really whack and really self-centered and stuff. But every time someone asked me what I do, I would have to spend half an hour explaining it. And I got a million questions because it's quite an interesting, I suppose my life is interesting. But the one thing that I realised in the, which I never really thought of before, the one thing that I realised when I started explaining Adventure Fit to people is that basically, Adventure Fit is my personality in a company. And that's what happens when you start a company, I suppose. So, yeah, if you guys want to see all the best sites in the world, if you want to practice mindfulness, you want to do yoga, you want to work out, get some endorphins, get a sweat on, but you also want to drink beers, eat burgers, have the most fun possible, the most fun humanly possible, then head to www.adventurefittravel.com. See what we've created, see what we have to offer. We've got a ton of trips coming up now. We've got New Zealand, Australia, Kokoda, Bali, Hawaii, what else did I just say? Vietnam, Greece, Iceland. We have amazing packages for gyms that they can bring in $7,000 of revenue. If they sell a trip for us, they get free travel themselves, the gym owners. They get a point of difference in their community. It's just, we've got it all. So head to www.adventurefittravel.com. Use the code RADIO if you want to book in on a trip. If you want information about the gym offering, email me directly, doc@adventurefittravel.com. I've been rambling. Here's the show. Enjoy.
So, mate, how was Vietnam?
Good.
Yep.
It was good.
One word?
One word?
Good.
No, if I'm only allowed to use one word, I'm going to use great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was better than good.
But you did say you were run down this morning.
Oh, I'm cooked.
Fucked.
I'm cooked city, mate.
Well, so what's the Vietnam term for that?
Oh!
That's pretty racist.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
It was a really good trip.
Look at this little fuckstick.
So if you're listening to this,
Or watching.
If you listen to this, I've got back from Vietnam yesterday, and rode a motorbike through Vietnam from Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon to Hanoi. It was great, man. It was funny because I didn't give myself anywhere near as much time as I should have had in the country. You know what I mean? Like, I had 17 days, which is nowhere near enough to go. Well, I made it to go Saigon to Hanoi and really see the country, stop at the place you want to, and enjoy the places.
Yeah.
It was more like me versus the road kind of thing.
Yep.
But
Any drink driving?
What's that?
Any drink driving?
No drink driving.
No drink driving?
Oh, drunk as fuck driving.
Drug driving?
No.
Sesh driving?
No.
Fuck stick.
I wasn't drunk driving, but I drove hungover the first day I drove. Like proper hungover.
Yeah.
I had like an 8 o'clocker. It was crazy.
An AMer?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It was
so
mental.
Like 3 beers.
I was mental, yeah.
Yeah.
And I clipped hands with a dude coming the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Like, as nearly stacked.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. It was, and we both went, whoa! And that was when I realised. That was when I realised. I was like, all right, this isn't. I'm not fucking around here. Like, I should not. So I didn't really party that much on the trip anyway. But I made sure I was pretty fresh when I was riding because the roads are just mental over there and whatever. But I tell you what, I met this dude halfway through. There's this joint called Hue, and pronounced Hue. It's halfway through, and we got our bike service there. So he was coming from Hanoi down to Saigon. I was going Saigon up to Hanoi. And we had the exact same bike, rented from the exact same place, and we're doing the exact same trip. And we rolled up next to each other, this Aussie guy. And I was like, did we just become best friends? It was great.
Mate, we did. Yeah.
And then, but the thing was, he said one thing that summed up the trip for me, basically. And it's really weird, the feeling of riding a motorbike by yourself through a foreign country and giving yourself a challenge like that. And I said to him, like, hey, man, what's your trip been like? He's like, oh, it's been fucking hard. But it's been awesome. Telling me a bunch of the places that he saw coming down. I was, obviously giving him my tips that, from what I saw going up. And then he said to me, I said, how fucking good is it, man? Just being on the bike. And he looks at me and just kind of shook his head. He goes, it's the ultimate freedom.
Really?
That's what he said, and it sounds corny. But when he said that...
it sounds like a scene out of Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
It's ultimate freedom. Come here, mate.
But I genuinely believe that was a really good way to sum it up because it's really weird, man. Like, I would get on the bike, and so they say, like, the guys that I rented the bike, they're like 200 kilometres a day is like a pretty good sesh. So that'd be about 3 or 4 hours. I did a couple of days. I did 440 kilometres in a day once.
Jeez.
Which
So
was
that's-
like 8 or 9 hours on the bike through like torrential thunderstorms.
How's the
fucking
ice?
the old hummus.
Yeah, house.
It's not recovered well. It's like I've been in Brokeback 1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like back to back to back.
The prequel. Yeah,
Just
well,
a-
that's
just
right.
a- yeah,
You've been very
broke
back to back.
back to back.
Back to anal.
It's cooked me. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would hate to be a gay sex fiend. A gay hippo. I feel like I'm homosexual. That's really bad, isn't it? Fuck.
You hate to be a gay sex fiend.
But no, my ass is cooked from it.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know what I meant by that last call. Anyway,
Jesus.
hey, we ever talk about if we're getting a little bit too politically incorrect before
I
the
know.
show?
Is that politically correct?
No, I don't think so.
Nah, it's all good.
It's anyway, so
Well, that's just how you're feeling.
no, exactly. So I did a couple of big days, but being on the road and the freedom thing that this dude talked about, it's so crazy, man. Like, because I got a little bit of those feelings when I'd ride the scooter around Bali. Like, if I'd ever have a spare second, like I'd get on the scooter and just go put a headphone in and calm down.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's all right.
It's quite funny.
But and I just loved it. Loved the
Yeah.
feeling of just being like, wind in your hair and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I had some times.
Did you have like some good times to think and?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. I had some times where I'd normally have a headphone in for the most part. First few days I had the GPS out, so my phone was a GPS and it was out, and I was actually watching where I was going. And then I realised pretty quickly that if you don't turn off, like you're going towards Hanoi, like it's pretty well.
Oh, okay, I see.
If there's an intersection that goes right and left, and they're two very big roads, and one of them doesn't say Hanoi or whatever, then I might pull the GPS out of my pocket.
Yep.
But, so I had a headphone in. So I was either doing a book, a podcast, or tunes.
Yep.
Mainly I was doing books and tunes. And
Yeah.
the times that I was listening to the books, I was more engaged than ever, having a fucking great time. Listen to The Third Chimpanzee by Jared Diamond. Jared Diamond is now, I reckon, one of my, if not my favourite author, like one of my favourite.
Really?
Yeah, Guns, Germs and Steel and
What else has he done?
Guns, Germs and Steel.
Okay.
And Third
Yep.
Chimpanzee. Outstanding
So
books.
they're evolution books.
More like The Third Chimpanzees. Yeah, evolution, I suppose. But Guns, Germs and Steel is more culture. It's not evolution.
Yep.
It's why cultures differ. And how.
Hey. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yep. Sweet. Sweet.
And then I did Barefoot Investor, so a money book, and then Man
Barefoot
Search.
Investor's good. Did
Man-
you
Man
like
Search
Barefoot
for Meaning.
Investor?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Great, wasn't it?
And then, so I'd either have a book going on or I'd have tunes pumping.
Mm-hmm.
And there was times, man, where most of the time, when you're having a real good time, you're singing along to yourself in the car or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, that's my barometer. When I used to drive back from Phoenix, I used to have a barometer of if I'm just really having a fucking good time in life. The tunes would come on, I'd be rattling along on my what's it called? Behind the steering wheel?
Hummus.
Dashboard.
Yeah. Miniature dash hand.
Singing songs at the top of my lungs. I was doing that all day, every day, just on the road, just absolutely loving life.
Yeah.
And the scenery all around you was just fantastic. So you can go two ways when you do the ride from Vietnam, from one end of Vietnam to the other. You can go Highway 1, basically, which is like, there's some good stops on Highway 1. Like, there's lots of good different towns that are worth stopping along. But it's also like, it's basically follows the coast, all the highways, all the trucks, straight line, good roads, whatever, not much scenery. Or you can go up into the mountains and follow the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And the Ho Chi Minh Trail kind of goes like through the mountains alongside the border to Laos, basically. And it's like twisting and turning, huge mountainous jungle cliffs each side of you, like potholes everywhere, gravel roads, like just real rugged out in the middle of nowhere. And I got recommended not to go that route because there's you can go. It's not that you can go a long period of time without actually seeing anyone. But you can go a long period of time without seeing anyone that'll probably help you.
Yeah, okay.
So if your bike breaks down, because I was by myself,
And
like
they wouldn't be speaking much English out through
English.
that way. Nah, so
No
what?
English.
You just had no idea.
yeah, so it was a bit risky. I mean, people are inherently good, People want to help. So if I'm broken down and it's pissing down with rain, which it was every afternoon because it was monsoon season basically.
Yep.
But if it's bucketing down and I'm on the side of the road and I'm pushing my bike, someone's going to want to help me.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's illegal for Vietnamese to house foreigners. You can't say...
You can't just bring him in for a glass of rice pudding.
No, it's illegal.
Really?
It's illegal, yeah. So, and a lot of the Vietnamese will follow, like, they'll follow the letter of the law. Like, they would want to help you, but they can't.
Yep.
Some would, for sure. Like, if I'm totally fucked. But, so because I was doing it by myself, you know, it was semi-risky, and I was always leaving late or trying to put in a big day and, you know, start going in the darkness, and then I'm like, all right, fuck, this is getting pretty sketch. Like, I need to find some accommodation.
Yeah.
But every single day when you follow this jungle trail up the Ho Chi Minh Highway, it is outstanding.
Yeah.
It is fucking incredible.
So it's rainforesty or?
It's rainforesty, yeah. It's rainforest.
Yeah.
Basically. So I got lots of videos of it. Obviously, the listeners can't see what I'm about to show you.
But Instagram Live, people can currently see it.
Well, they can see what we're talking about, but
they won't know it by the time they listen to this.
Anyway, look, it was just.
By the way, we're Instagram Live right now.
Yeah. But it was just. The scenery was spectacular. The scenery was really spectacular. I was really glad that I went the Ho Chi Minh Trail. It's also way more of a challenge. Yeah. You know, it's a lot. Takes a lot longer to get from A to B. If you go from A to B on Highway 1, it might take you, 8 hours or whatever. It'll take you 12 hours.
How fast were you like rocking? Standard, like average
about
average
60,
speed?
70 kilometres an hour.
Okay.
On this little heap of shit,
right.
127cc bike.
Yeah.
I got up to about 80. 80 was the fastest I got. Didn't go faster than 80. That was max. Ziggy.
I know. Have a look at him. He's just pumping through.
Humping the old pillow there.
Oh, look at this hummus.
Is he
Look at this
rock?
hummus.
Is he rock? Is he solid?
He's full bar.
Yeah.
Full hummus.
Full bar. Good boy.
That's
boy.
weird.
Good boy.
That's very weird. It's a dog.
So yeah, it was. But genuinely, it was awesome. I ended up stopping at a place called Phong Nha.
Oh yeah, Phong Nha.
Phong Nha Ki Bang is the full name. Phong Nha Ki Bang National Park.
Yeah.
And it's got the world's biggest cave.
Phong Nha Ki Bang.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. If you want, yeah.
Phong Nha Ki Bang.
Yeah. It's got the world's biggest.
I used to study Phong Nha Ki Bang.
What?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I used to study Phong Nha Ki Bang.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you go?
Actually, I knew a bloke, Phong Nha Ki Bang. Yeah. Steve Phong Nha Ki Bang.
I stayed at I'd already earmarked because there's a lot of highlights on the Vietnam as a country is one of the best. One of the best I've been to. It's fucking great.
But let's be honest, you love every country.
Yeah, I do say that a bit,
it's my fucking favourite place in the world, mate. Can you do an impersonation of me?
I have been known to say that.
I can do an impersonation of you. Well, I mean, the thing about that really is that, it's my fucking favourite place in the world, mate. Fucking fuck.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much me.
What's this one? Yeah.
That's me, but I can't do an impersonation of you. I probably could, but I'm not going to.
My name's Tommy. It is.
But there's so when I looked at Lonely Planet, basically because I didn't really plan much before getting over there. I knew the basic places I kind of wanted to go, but when I started going a bit deeper on the planning, I looked at Phong Nha and I was like, all right, that's going to be the place I'm going to want to stay. That's going to be my favourite place. That's what I thought, And then I got there. And there's this hostel called Easy Tiger, and it's not on Hostel World. It's not on Booking.com. It's not you can find it on the internet through its own website, but it's just all word of mouth. They don't advertise at all. It's just they don't need to.
Yeah,
it's
just huge.
Yeah, it's just the best. Yeah. It's just word of mouth, just always booked.
Yep.
Anyway, so I got to Phong Nha, and genuinely. And I know I fucking say it all the time.
Here we go.
But it was
my fucking favourite
all right,
place.
Well, I'll be more specific. I reckon Phong Nha, Paradise Cave, which is the prettiest cave at Phong Nha, is top 3 things I've probably ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. So I'm going to be specific.
So what are you second and third?
No, it's probably third.
Probably top 4.
That's what I said. I would have said
top 3.
Top 1.
So what?
But
it's probably not my favourite, but it's my top 1.
No. Best thing I've ever seen was Mount Yasua erupting on the island of Tanna. Yeah. I stood on the crater there and watched it erupt 100 foot above my head with many, 20, truck-sized pieces of light. Like I'm standing on a volcano as it erupts. That's the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Second would be Foz do Iguazu Falls on the border of Argentina, Paraguay and Brazil. That, me and Roisey watched that just for 2 full days, one on the Brazilian side, one on the Argentinian side. We watched that whole thing for 2 days on the end of our 6-month South America trip, and we were just like, this is the best thing we've seen on this whole trip. You know, I was right at the end, and we're like, there's nothing better than this. Just like nature at its finest, making you feel so insignificant. It was incredible. So they're probably the top 2. I walked into Paradise Cave, and straight away I was like, yeah, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Really?
I was straight away. I was like,
Just.
is this for real? This is insane. It was so fucking pretty and so amazing and so massive and grand, and it was just insane, mate. It really was. So I went there with a few crew from the hostel and just had a sick day. But then we went to the Botanical Gardens at Phong Nha, which is rad. The one thing I wanted to do, which I missed out on, which they say is the best thing to do in Phong Nha, is duck throwing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What, live duck throwing?
Yeah.
Really?
Chuck a duck.
Chuck a duck?
Yeah.
What about fuck a duck?
No fucking. Just straight chucking.
No
chucking
cucking.
ducks. No, so there's this farm that you go down to, go to. So Sam, this guy that was manager of the hostel, he was an Australian guy, and he'd been living in Phong Nha for 2 years, and he does this information talk when you get in on at 9 o'clock. Not everyone has to go to it, but if you're around, like, it's worth going to at the hostel. And tells you about all the things to do. Tells you about a bunch of military history, which is one very, very interesting part of Vietnam. Obviously, Vietnam War. And then, or as they call it, the American War.
Yes.
And then,
Very good point.
Crazy that. And then, so Sam said the best thing to do in Phong Nha is the duck throwing, hands down. And
So
everyone
how do
that
you
did
even
it-
get duck? Like, where do you get ducks?
You go to a duck farm and
yeah.
you line up, and the guy that owns the farm gives you a bit of history on the farm and whatever, and then you all get a duck and you throw it.
To throw.
Yeah.
There's got to be some ethical concerns with that one. So you just throw ducks.
Yeah.
So some people like breed ducks to throw.
Yeah, throwing ducks. And I'm
throwing
like,
ducks.
do the ducks get harmed? And Sam was like, no, the ducks love it.
What? No, are you
They
serious?
do, mate. They
The
love
ducks
it.
love it.
Yeah, they absolutely love it.
They love getting thrown.
They froth it, mate.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
So what? You
Genuine
pick it up and you
benign.
throw it, and they froth it, and they just.
So you
jump
stand
around.
there. You stand there on the water, and you throw them as far as you can, and they try and fly. And some of them are pretty decent at flying, but they don't fly.
Nah.
They kind of like
Ducks just fall with style.
Yeah, they fall
Yeah.
with style. They flap hard and fall.
They flap hard and fall.
But I can't really talk of it because I didn't actually do it. I saw videos. I saw everything, and
Is it like dog throwing?
I've never thrown a dog, mate, so I'm not really sure. Have you
Good
thrown
fun.
dogs?
Yeah.
How
I
far can
went
you
to
throw
a dog farm. 12 metres.
Right. Oh, Ziggy.
Yeah.
You can throw
yeah.
Ziggy 12
He just
metres.
went. Shoo.
How far could you throw a Frenchie?
A little baby.
French, not a human.
Oh, a French
not
bulldog?
French person, no, French bulldog.
2 metres.
2 metres.
Yeah,
How
not the best.
far could you throw a French person, you reckon? Like a baby.
40
human.
metres.
40 metres.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Be tough.
yeah. So Phong Nha was, but in all seriousness, Phong Nha is like, it's Phong Nha itself. Paradise Cave top 3. Phong Nha probably, I reckon they're all probably top 3, especially the hostel. The hostel Easy Tiger was top 3 for me as well. And I messaged Roisey straight away, messaged Roy Boy, because I messaged him and said, hey, mate, I've got our next trip. Because Roisey loves motorbikes, and I just know he'd love Vietnam, and I haven't travelled with him in a bloody long time. And I messaged him and said, hey, mate, I've got our next trip. I've nailed it. We've got to do this trip. And he goes, what trip? What are you talking about? I'm like, the trip I'm doing right now. Like, we got to do it. And we got to do a different route or whatever, but you would love it. He would just love everything about it, and made me think of Roisey all the time when I'm on this trip. And then anyway, so I messaged him that day, just like as I was coming into Phong Nha in the national park. Big day. Bike broke down that day. Fuck, all kinds of shit
Phong
happened.
Nha.
But yeah. And then as soon as I walked into this hostel called Easy Tiger, I walked in, and me and Roisey, my favourite ever hostel is Lockie Del Mar in Mancora.
Yep.
And Roisey and I spend our time there. It's his
Had a
favourite
sesh there.
hostel in a mile
Yep.
as well. It's the best. And as soon as I walked into Easy Tiger, without being there for more than half an hour, I messaged him and said, and also, I reckon I've found the closest thing to Lockie Del Mar on the planet.
Yeah.
I just knew from the vibes right away, and so
Unbelievable.
everything about Phong Nha was sick. It was so good.
And what about any
Any sessions?
Any
Couple of sessions.
couple of sessions?
Both sober, interestingly enough.
Sober sessions.
Yeah, sober sesh.
The SS.
Yeah, I got waved in. I got waved in by a chick in Hue.
In Hawaii.
I was walking. I got off my bike at like 8 p.m.
Yep.
And I was just spent. I walked in this hostel. A few crew were going out for beers. Hey man, you want to come? And I was like, man, I need to sit down for half an hour. I'm going to have a shower. I stunk. I'm like, I need to have a shower. Like, just give me a sec. I might meet up with you guys.
I am a bin now.
Yeah. I might meet up with you guys
Full bin.
later in the day. And then I just said, nah, you know what? I'm just going to put a headphone in, walk around, get some food, whatever. And as I was walking around, I walked past these two kind of hot chicks that I saw out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh, geez, those girls are good looking. And then I walked down into the street, and there was nothing really down the end of the street. Looked shit to turn right, but I didn't want to walk back and walk past these chicks again. I don't know why. I was just kind of nervous.
You were being that guy.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Yeah. And then I remember I had a cornetto in my hand and a headphone, and I walked past them.
You did.
And then
You had your own cornetto in your hand.
It's a euphemism.
Yep.
And then
here we go.
Ziggy,
I'm about to have a session.
Mate.
For everyone listening at home, I just got boned by a dog.
Ziggy was humping Tommy.
Hump City. He was fong-narring me.
I walked around and did a lap of the block and then walked past these chicks. I was miles away at this point, and then I looked over the corner of my eye, and one of these chicks is just waving me in, going like this. Get over it. So I walked down and had one beer and chatted to him for a bit. And then, the next day, just as I was about to leave for, I just spoken to you actually.
Oh yeah.
Or you or someone
on the phone when you were riding on the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I just spoken to you, and I was just about to get on my bike, and then this chick invited me for a coffee, and ended up being a sass. Yeah.
It wasn't just a coffee, pal.
Sasasion.
But yeah, okay.
That's good. Vietnam's it's
yeah. So would you go back?
Outstanding. I'm definitely going back.
100% going back.
I want to get Royce involved. We haven't. He's my best travel buddy that I've got in the world, and we haven't travelled together in a fair while. It's a very cheap trip, and it's one that he would love. And I've already brought it up with him. So now if I go back, I think it's going to have to be with him because I've already got him keen on the whole idea.
Yep.
Top Gear did a special on the Hai Van Pass in Vietnam, like this the best stretch of road in all of Vietnam, they say, which I suppose I agree. It's probably as good as anywhere, but it's like a 15-minute stretch of road. There's stretches on the Ho Chi Minh Highway, Ho Chi Minh Pass they call it basically. There's stretches on the Ho Chi Minh Pass where you're riding for an hour and you're just awestruck by the nature around you. You're like, this is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Corner after corner, and you know when you see like Vietnam War movies or just documentaries on Vietnam, and you see the jungle and you see the mist and the mist rising as the sun.
Yep.
It was like that, like all day. You know, I'm looking around, trying to get my camera out, trying to take some footage or some photos that does it any sort of justice, and you just couldn't. So there's basically days like that on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, whereas the Hai Van Pass is like, it's like 15 minutes, 30 minutes. But it's similar scenery. Like it's left-hand side is mountainous cliffs. Kind of, it's not really jungle, but they kind of look dense enough to make it look kind of like jungle. Really pretty on the left-hand side. And the right-hand side's the bay, like the ocean, the bay.
Yep.
And so it's really pretty. The Hai Van Pass is sick. Top Gear did a special on it. But yeah, the whole Vietnam, the ride itself is, I mean, for anyone out there that just is looking for a real adventure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very common to do the motorbike ride through Vietnam. Like it's the way that a lot of people do it.
Yep. Fuck, I want to go, man.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's so cheap too. Like I would pull over on my bike. I'm like in the middle of nowhere, right? Absolutely middle of nowhere. And because on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, there's only a few really big cities, and then there's just tiny little dotted, tiny towns. You know, no hostels, no McDonald's, none of that shit.
No.
You don't even know.
Instead of McDonald's, they have
McFong. Yeah.
McFong.
But yeah. So
McFong.
I walked into.
What can you order at McFong?
I think you can get McHuang.
Yeah. With extra donk.
Yeah. That was nice. Ziggy. Ziggy shoes. No, it's not racist. It's just
fun.
giving shit to the language.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is racist.
It's just racist. But we have a lot of shit wrong with us.
But yeah. So, but you would pull in to the shittiest little like places where your thinking mind is like. You're like, I'm going to get sick eating this food. Because it just looks so unhygienic and like such a dingy little... That's what you think, like, you know. But I'm probably travelled enough to know that doesn't mean anything. You know, you can go and have a Western meal and you get sick or whatever.
But that's the thing. Like, Western meals fuck you. Like, in Mexico, Pizza Hut fucked me.
Yeah, yeah,
But I was
exactly.
eating street food every day.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I would literally walk into it, the shittiest little restaurant, bunch of sign language, trying to plan charades to try and get a meal, and they'd just be like, I'd go, I want some food. They're like, what do they say? So they would basically just go like, or maybe just thumbs up. I'm like, give me food, thumbs up. Yeah, sweet, sit down.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would bring out like, okay, so it's pronounced like pho or pho. Pho?
Pho, yeah.
Basically.
So it's pho.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Pho. They would bring out bring out like a bowl of pho with like a side of like epic noodles and rices with chicken or whatever, and a bunch of hors d'oeuvres like entrees and little side plates.
Yep.
And it would legitimately cost me like $1.40.
A dong
and
40.
It was
Vietnamese dong. It is Vietnamese dong, isn't it?
It is dong, yeah.
How good's that?
It is.
Yeah, by the end of the trip, you had a very large Vietnamese dong.
Yeah.
Or small Vietnamese dong.
But it was, man, the food was
I'd love
great.
to go to Vietnam. Fuck.
The food was great.
Do they have nuts in their food?
Nah, it's not so common.
Nuts?
Nah, it's pretty alright.
That'd be good for me.
Pretty alright, yeah.
Yeah.
Banh mi's really good. Like the pork buns. It's basically like a hot dog with pork rolls.
Yep.
They're in the south. They're everywhere. Like what I would do, because I was always just trying to cover ground, because I knew that I didn't have as long as I wanted on the trip to stop and take place in. So unless I was getting to my destination, I would a lot of the time I'd literally ride my bike. Okay, banh mi, and I'd pull over the side of the road. All right. 2 banh mi, they'd be like, yep, they just got a little stand, like a little like hot dog stand basically, but for banh mi. And they would come up, I'd literally take my gloves, helmet or whatever I was wearing off, and then just sit on my bike, get a little chair and just punch down 2 banh mi and go. And some of the banh mis you would have.
Unbelievable.
Fuck, man, they were good.
Yeah.
But it was funny, like, the thing that I liked most about the whole trip was, like, had a few, like, random acts of kindness that were just like, fuck, that's sick.
Yeah.
So, couple of like, the first one was I got in from Dalat. Dalat is this nice little it's in the mountains kind of, this nice little French colonial town. There's a cool hike to do there. There's lots of adventure activities and stuff. Anyway, I left Dalat at like 3 p.m, which was too late. I did this big hike, Lang Biang Mountain, in the morning. Then I went and saw the Crazy House, which is just like this site. It's like an architecturally crazy house in Dalat. And then it was by about 3 p.m. I was getting on the road, and to get to Buon Matot, which is the next place, it was like 5 hours. And the guys are like, the guys on sale were like, don't do it. It's too wet. It's going to get dark. There's not many people out there, And I was like, fuck. And I was listening to them, and I should have taken their warning really, but I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna, make an adventure out of it. I'll give it a crack. So I got on the road, and I legitimately didn't think I was going to find anywhere to stay. Like there was such large stretches where there was just nobody, no towns, no sign of hotel. But there's little guest houses scattered here, there, and everywhere. And I finally, with a bunch of like stress and like fucking around and back and forth and asking people and Google Translate, I finally found some accommodation, which was cool. And then I walked into this little hotel, sorry, not a hotel. I walked into this restaurant. These guys kind of called me in. I was just walking the street. I'm like, oh, that kind of looks like a restaurant. And these young lads were like, hello. There's 3 of them, and they just kept yelling hello.
One large McFong.
Only word they could say, pretty much. And then I went and sat down, and they're so excited to see me, and they're screaming Vietnamese at me as fast as I can. I'm like, lads, calm down. I can't. And I'm so tired. Like, I'm exhausted. Yeah. I'm like, boys, I can't speak. But we're all laughing our heads off, having a great time.
You know Vietnamese dong.
Yeah. And then they knew hello, thank you, goodbye, and fuck you.
They knew fuck you.
Yeah. So they'd sit there. They're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Laughing their heads off.
Yeah. We're not mates.
And anyway, I had a meal with these young lads, and geez, they must have thought they were having a great chat with me.
Yeah.
Because they were just vibing and just kept talking to me in Vietnamese. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying, boys.
Yeah.
But it was a really nice little interaction. And then as we were leaving, they kept going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then doing like a money symbol, and then going like, we're going. And I couldn't figure out what they were saying. I'm like, all right, they're either saying, you've got this white boy, the meal's on you, or they're saying it's on us,
Yeah.
And I knew that was probably going to be the case, but I'm like, all right, there's 2 things that have just happened here, because these guys left.
Yeah.
They all left. Anyway, I got up and went to go and pay for my meal, and the lady's like, again, no English, the lady's like, Your friends paid.
Yeah.
It's all good. Like, so these guys, it was like their Vietnamese bit of hospitality.
That's good. That's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially because like I'm a Westerner. The dollar that I earn in
it would have been a lot better for you.
goes 10 times as far as what that. Like, I should be shouting them.
Yeah, for sure.
If anything. But so that was fucking great. My bike broke down in the middle of nowhere at one point, and I pushed my bike for about. It actually ran out of petrol.
Yep.
And which is my fault. But it was kind of like, it's a long story, but so I was pushing my bike in the middle of nowhere for like 20 minutes.
Yep.
I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to push it. Mentally, I'm like, I'm gonna have to push this for 4 hours, like to get to a petrol station. I really think that's probably what's going on here. But I was cool. I'm like, that's just what I have to do.
Yeah.
That's fine. I know I'm not gonna fucking die out here.
Yeah.
So it's just what has to happen. But
Yeah,
these guys pulled over, these Vietnamese guys pulled over, and they spoke perfect English, believe it or not, and they end up going and buying petrol and hooking me up. Wouldn't take any money for it. We had a great chat, took some selfies, fucking all this stuff. It was sick. So good. And then the best experience I reckon I had is how's this, right? So I first day I got into Phong Nha, I went and just chilled in the pool with a bunch of crew, chatted for a couple of hours, then did a little bit of work, did like 2 or 3 hours work, and then didn't really have time to go and do like one of the caves or the national park, something that I wanted to do, one of the big attractions I wanted to do in the afternoon. I kind of ran out of time, and then I was like, right, I want to do something. Like 6 o'clock, there's free beer at this hostel for an hour, and then, you know, people start coming out. But it was like 4:30. I'm like, all right, I want to do something. So, fuck it, I'm just going to get on my bike. Because the national park's so pretty, you can just ride around, and it's just awesome anyway. The scenery's so good. They're those big limestone karst mountains, you know. Anyway, so I got on my bike, and I started riding, and rode for about 15 minutes, and I found this little kind of side track. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go down here, start riding down there. And then there's probably like 10, maybe 15 young Vietnamese lads, probably 7 years old or something. They're like, mister, stop, mister, stop.
Yeah.
And so I pulled my bike, and I'm like, hey, boys,
You're
what's
like,
going on?
no, I'm going to Phong Nha. I'm going to Phong Nha ya. I'm going to McFong ya. I'm going to Phong you in the McFong.
But anyway, so I pulled over, and they start coming up, and they're giving me rocks. They're like, yeah. I'm still sitting on my bike. I'm like, what do I want these rocks for?
Yeah.
And then they're pointing in the bushes. I'm like, what, lads? What are you trying to say? And then this kid goes, little kid, like, he goes, watch this, basically. Walks up, points like a little kid, points finger pointed into the bush, like he's aiming on something. He's like one eye, you know, like a true little kid. Gets this rock and throws it into the bushes, and I watch the trajectory of the rock, and it just misses this massive beehive.
Oh,
I'm like, they're throwing rocks at the beehive. I'm like, lads, hook us a rock.
They're trying to Phong it.
Hook us up some rocks.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was sitting on the side of the road with these little kids. We'll have a go, boys. And I throw this rock, miss the beehive by a mile. We all start laughing. Anyway, so for about 10 minutes, so me and these little kids, we're throwing rocks at this beehive, having a great time. And then I said, give me a rock here. And I wind up, threw it, boom, hit the beehive, and just fucking bees have gone everywhere. So me and the kids, like, we've legged it.
Bolting.
We're like, run!
Started fonging.
Yeah, we're like, run! So me and these kids running down the street as fast as we can, getting away from these bees.
Yeah.
Laughing our heads off, high-five and whatever.
Fonging each other.
And it was just, all right, you're going to have to get over the fonging thing, mate. But it was genuinely like one of the coolest little interactions I reckon I've ever had.
Yeah.
Just kids being kids, you know?
Yeah.
I couldn't speak a word of English to them.
Yeah.
But like sat there and we just had the best time, and then...
You can get in a lot of trouble for that, mate.
What's that? Fonging kids.
Yeah.
But it was sick. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was one of the highlights of the whole trip. Just you know, you don't need language to like become friends and have a good time.
Absolutely.
You know?
No, you definitely don't need language. Yeah, that's right. Well, that's what you've been up to.
That's what I've been up to.
2 weeks, eh?
It was about 2.5 weeks, and yeah, highly recommend it to anyone that wants to go out and get a real adventure under their belt. It's
so Vietnam. It's literally it's one of my mates. It's my mate's favorite place.
Yeah,
in the whole world, and he's been to a few places. So I've got to get there.
Been to Adelaide?
He hasn't been to Adelaide actually. He hasn't followed around in Adelaide.
There you go.
Yeah, have you been to Adelaide?
It'd be second.
Have you been
He's
to
one
Adelaide?
of your mates?
Yeah, one of my mates.
Yeah, one of your mates.
Well, I don't really have any mates. Yeah. Have you been to Adelaide?
Yeah.
It's a great place.
A couple of times. Love it. Yeah, it's right up there for me.
Better than getting fonged.
Top 95 or something. Top 95. Top 95 pet place I've been in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. out of 17.
Yeah, we got Lauren Conlon on the show.
Yeah, we do.
Tommy, we better wrap it up.
Skedaddle. Well, for everybody listening at home and for everybody on Instagram Live, we're going to start doing more of this, by the way.
Yes.
A
Yeah,
lot more Instagram Live. So
we'll for anyone listening, if you want to see these shows as they come out on the spot, then we're just going to hit Instagram Live.
Yep.
It'll be on there. It'll obviously disappear from there, but you'll be able to get a snippet of it, and then it'll come out as usual on all available platforms.
Well, until then, bye for now.
Catch ya. Alrighty, guys. If you enjoyed that show, then please go ahead and subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, please leave us a rating and review. Helps us climb the iTunes charts and helps us keep this thing, running into the future. Also, guys, show notes can be found at www.adventurefittravel.com/radio. And don't forget to head to quashcreative.com, audibletrial.com/ADVF radio, and adventurefittravel.com. Use the code word radio for 10% off. See you next week.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.